Hey, how you doing today? I am Taquila Coleman. In today's video, we're going to talk about your prayers is moving God to give your spouse a second chance. Now, before we jump into this content, I do want to remind everyone that we just launched our How to Write a book class. Many of you have been asking Tequila, when is the next book class? I want to sign up. Many of you already know God has given you not one, but two or three book ideas, and it's time to give birth. It's time to go ahead and put pen to the paper and write the book and publish it. Okay, so this is exactly what I'm going to teach you inside of our How to Write a Book class. You're going to learn how to write, publish, and become an Amazon best-selling author. I'm going to reveal to you my blueprint, what I use that has helped me to publish all 10 of my books. Okay, it's an easy process. I've been sharing testimonies of other students who have taken out how to write a book class last year, and they have published their book as well. So if I am speaking to you, I want you to head over to godordainedmarriages.com/book class. You can check the description for the link. But sign up. We are starting next month, June 13th. Okay. Now, let's bring everything back. Okay, so as I was saying, we're going to be talking about your prayers is moving God to give your spouse a second chance. And so the Lord began to speak this to me, right? And I need you to understand a few things, okay? Because when God reveals to you that this particular person is your God ordained spouse, and let me just say, when God revealed that this is your future spouse, He never tell you that it's time for you and this person to come together in marriage. What God tells you to do is He instructs you to start praying for this person, cover this person in prayer. Why is that? The reason why God is instructing you to cover this individual in prayer is so that, well, number one, he or she probably don't have anyone praying for them, but number two, they're prodigal. Prodigal simply means this individual, they're not in covenant with God. They're breaking God's laws and commandments. They have rejected God. They're rejecting knowledge that comes from the Lord, right? And, they're giving over to this reprobate mind. They're giving over to the shameful lust. They're doing things that they know that they shouldn't be doing, right? And so they up under God's wrath. And so they have prodigal's life come up under the curses for disobedience. You can find this in Deuteronomy 28. And when you understand the curses for disobedience, the curses are designed to destroy this individual's life. So this is why God has alerted you and said, hey, that's your God ordained future husband or wife. But I need you to pray for this person, because without your prayers, the enemy can take this individual's life. Okay. I need y'all to understand this. So God, He won't call you off your prayer post. Okay. He needs someone standing in the gap, covering this individual in prayer. Okay. So that your prayers are now inviting God into this situation to talk to this prodigal, to, walk with this individual, to remove that veil off of their eyes, the heart, and the mind, right? Your prayers is allowing God to give your person dreams, showing them things that they don't know what's really going on, revealing to them in dreams the real enemy, showing them things that they need to see so that they can begin to wake up out of this spiritual blindness that they are going through, or the spiritual death. Okay. So we got to understand, why is God calling me to prayer? Why is God telling me to pray for this person? And everywhere I turn in the physical, this individual is rejecting me, betraying me, off with a counterfeit, not appreciating my prayer. It has everything to do with you understanding your assignment. Your assignment, God is calling you to your assignment to cover this individual in prayer, so that God can rebuke the hand of the enemy off this person's life, so that the enemy is not given permission or legal right to take this individual's person's life. Okay, we got to understand our assignment in this, right? So again, with that understanding in mind, okay, your prayers will move God into giving your spouse a second chance at life, as a second chance at getting this love story right. Okay, we got to understand this, because your I'll say this, prodigals are condemned to hell because of how they live in their life. They've been given over to a reprobate mind. They're rejecting God. They spitting in His face. They mocking him. They leading others astray, away from God. Okay. Um, right. So we got to understand they are condemned to hell. And God, in his mercy and grace, he wants to give them a second chance. Okay. But it's going to come through your prayers. So in Genesis chapter 18, we're going to start reading at verse 17. It say, then the Lord said, shall I hide from Abraham what I'm about to do? This is what God is saying to you. Shall I hide from my daughter, my son, what I'm about to do? Right? This was before God revealed your spouse to you. God is like, shall I hide what I'm about to do? Shall I hide from this individual that they have a God ordained future husband or wife? Okay. Abraham will surely become a great and powerful nation, and all nation on earth will be blessed through him. For I have chosen him so that he would direct his children and his household after him to keep the way of the Lord by doing what is right and just, so that the Lord will bring about for Abraham what he has promised him. You got to understand this same promise is for you as well. God has chosen you to direct your children and your household after God, to keep the ways of the Lord by doing what is right and just. Understand this is applies to you. This is why God is requiring for you to learn about him. This is why God is telling you, spend time with me. This is why God is requiring obedience. Okay, he's training us because he wants us to teach this to our children. Okay. Verse 20 say, then the Lord said, the outcry against Sodom and Gomorrah is so great and their sin so grievous that I would go down and see if what they have done is as bad as the outcry that has reached me. You have to understand the same way how God is talking about Sodom and Gomorrah, how that outcry has reached God, your spouse's sin has reached God. Okay. And God is like, he's considering wiping them out, taking them out of here. But he's having mercy on the person by alerting you, their God ordained, to stand in the gap and pray. Okay. So let's continue reading. Let's start at verse 22. The man turned away. Let me go back. It say, if none, I would know. The man turned away and went towards Sodom, but Abraham remained standing before the Lord. Then Abraham approached him and said, will you sweep away the righteous with the wicked? What if there are 50 righteous people in the city? Will you really sweep it away and not spare the place for the sake of the 50 righteous people in it? Far be it from you to do such a thing, to kill the righteous with the wicked, treating the righteous and the wicked alike. That tell you right there, for those who are wondering or thinking that God treat you, the righteous, the same way he treat the wicked, that lets you know right here. No, God is a fair God. He is a just God. He's a God of justice. It's a far be it from you, will not the judge of all the earth do right? So Abraham challenging God. The Lord said, this is in verse 26, the Lord said, if I find 50 righteous people in the city of Sodom, I will spare the whole place for their sake. And so Abraham began to just challenge God. He began to ask, okay, he started with 50. He's going to go all the way down, I think, to 10, right? And when he go all the way down to 10, yes, in verse 32, it say, then he said, may the Lord not be angry, but let me speak just once more. What if only 10 can be found there? He answered, for the sake of 10, I will not destroy it. This is God telling Abraham. When the Lord had finished speaking with Abraham, he left and Abraham returned home. So God is saying, according to your prayers, okay, God is going to give your spouse a second chance. He just needs that one who's going to stand in the gap and rebuke the hand of the enemy off of this person's life. God is looking for that one who's going to, approach God in a humble way and ask God, remind God, Remember your son, remember your daughter, all the good, deeds they have done in the past. Have mercy on this person's soul, Father. Don't take their life, even though they deserve it, Father. But have mercy on their son, or on your son, on your daughter, Father. God is looking for that one who's going to stand in the gap on behalf of your person and plead on their behalf. It's not about just if whether or not your spouse deserve it or not. We don't deserve it. I mean, think about it. There were a time when you was spiritually dead. There was a time when you was a prodigal. We all make mistakes. We all don't get it right, right? But there was someone who stood on your behalf. It could have been your grandmother who prayed for you, right? So we have to understand that our prayers is moving God to give your spouse a second chance at life. You have to stay in this process long enough so that God can reveal what he needs to reveal to you and your person. You have to stay in faith with God long enough so that God can show you the tables they will turn. Okay. You have to stay in this process long enough so that God can show you, that God, he didn't lie when he promised you this God ordained love story. He wants you to stay in faith, believing what God said the first time. You got to stay in this long enough so that God can show you, okay, the miracles, signs, and wonders that he's going to do through you and your spouse. God want to show you that he's going to restore your marriage. He's going to restore your spouse. He's going to get this love story back on, track. But do you believe him? Will you continue to cover your spouse in prayer? That is the question God is asking many of you. Will you believe what God is saying and showing you, or are you going to believe what the devil is showing you in the physical? We walk by faith, not by sight. Okay? So understand, your prayers is moving God to have mercy on your person. God is gracing you for this promise for your person. He got to grace you for this, okay? But God is also, okay, your prayers is also moving God to give your spouse a second chance at life, a second chance to, redeem themselves, to come back, and do things, a different way. You deserve the opportunity, right? You deserve this opportunity for God to show you that he can correct your spouse in a way and to the point of sending them back to where they are all loving towards you. You deserve that apology. You deserve respect. You deserve that faithful man. You deserve a husband who lives with his wife in an understanding way. You deserve that wife who respects her husband. You deserve this. So let's wait on God to show us and give to us what we deserve. Okay. You put in the time, God see the work you are doing. He say faith without work is dead. You putting in the work. You have the faith. So let's go ahead and continue, to believe and trust God, because his word can return back to him void. Okay. And he's going to turn this love story around. He's going to get your marriage back on track, but you got to stay in faith. You have to believe God. Okay, so don't give up. Continue covering your spouse in prayer, because your prayers is moving God to give your spouse a second chance. All right. So with that, I am Taquila Coleman. I'll talk to you real soon. Take care.